Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
We painted our names on wings, promising one another heaven while bracing for impact. Love was a battlefield we found ourselves on. You whispered, if we crash together. But I caught calm tucked behind your cowardness, parachute packed in pretense. You were armored in alternatives while I was bare souled and bullet hearted. Still, I believed we could survive a love designed to detonate us without leaving direction for survival. I begged for balance, but your love was a loaded finger ready to pull past into present anytime I got too close. I brought bandages, you brought blame. I spoke in softness, you answered in explosion. We weren't lovers, we were lion minds, calling it connection because we were too broken to pull apart. We soared on sweet nothings, feeding altitude to our affections, pretending gravity was jealous of our glide. Every kiss was clearance for us to take off. Every touch was turbulence we chose to ignore. We smiled, and you were like safety for me. Even as the engine started sputtering, I ignored smoke signals, calling chaos romance. Convinced myself we were just flying through a storm instead of straight into one. You left before I said a word. Air got heavier when your touch stopped landing with intention. You looked at me like survival was a solo mission this time. And I tried pulling back on what we built, but we were already nosediving without exit strategies. Like a kamikaze, loyal to the mission, I didn't want to die, but I did anyway. In ways I stopped believing someone could love me without breaking me first. I crawled from wreckage with pieces of you still stuck between my teeth, smoke still in my lungs, and your name lodged between heartbreak and habit. I survived, but not untouched. I'm here, flightless now, but still breathing through of but still breathing through burn of what once was. If you ask me, would I board that same flight of love again? I say no, with a mouthful of memories that still left smut on my tongue and a soul who knows finally not every fall is worth the flight, especially if you're going to crash and burn. I believe there's a power in words. And so I'm going to try to get through this next piece. Um, this piece is called No is My Piece. My new favorite word is no. It's a full sentence, dressed in still-toed syllables. It doesn't need to be sweet. It doesn't beg for your approval, doesn't come with explanations taped to its back. It just stands, spine straight, jaw locked, holding every version of me that used to fold. I'm saying no to shrinking so others could feel tall, to apologies I never owed but gave, to bruises of boundaries dressed up as love and favor attached by chains. I said yes so many times my voice forgot its own shape, but now it curves around this word no like it was born to say it. I say no without flinching, without nervous laughter or afterthought of guilt, no dressed in truth cut from cloth of every time I bit my tongue, no of explaining myself to people who never earned a yes. It's a boundary I've carved in bold gospel of my spine now, and it preaches on its own. Soft lips holding firm, peace not coming from people pleasing. This ain't a rebellion. It's a reclamation. Every no is a door I ain't opening, bridge I ain't rebuilding, version of me that ain't dying on someone else's heel anymore. I've said yes to exhaustion, to be in silence, to being the strong one when I was the one breaking. So now I say no, and I mean every word of it with every fiber in my whole healing. This no ain't a weakness, it's a war cry. Anthem of a woman who's bled behind too many sleepless nights, who still showed up smiling because there was a job to do. This is a full stop after years of unfinished thoughts and people cutting off my sentences. No is mirror I finally held up to every user, abuser, manipulator, and fake friend, watching them flinch at the power they couldn't steal this time. So when I say no, understand it's not just a word, it's a rebirth. It's a smile I forgot far too long. It's joy I've stitched back into my name. It's permission I give myself to rest, to heal, to matter. It's the quiet roar in a world that called me too much, too gullible, and never enough. No is my peace now. And baby, I don't owe that to anybody, just me. I traced your laugh and way my sun grins, sketching you from stories I kept folded in my chest. Brushstroke by brushstroke, I rebuilt you in silence with strong hands, warm eyes, scent of aftershave still lingering in memories, but your lips always blur before they blend, as if joy were only part time wouldn't let me keep. I used to stare at my son while he slept, watching way his lips curl mid dream, wondering if that's what yours look like. Soft joy without weight of leaving. I memorized his smile like scripture, never wanting to forget it. So I never had to chase ghosts in every mirror I passed, like when it came to you. Mornings, I remember watching you shave, steam curling off mirror, your hum low and steady. You wink at your reflection like you knew a secret the world didn't, but when I blink, your grin disappeared with fog, leaving me with faded memories as you slipped through wrinkles of time in my mind. I searched for your smile at my first heartbreak. When tears baptized my pillow and silence tucked me in at night, I begged ceiling for comfort, but it only gave me cracks to lose myself in. None of them curved like your smile, so I learned early no one would ever comfort me through my darkness. I carried your absence like pigment in my palms, mixed into every face I've tried trusting, every man I ever tried loving. I searched for their joy for yours, hoping one of them would grin in your language, but none ever lived up to being half the man you were. Maybe I never got your smile right because I wasn't meant to capture it. Maybe it lived only in motion or in memories between your laughter and mine after every baby girl left your lips. So I'll keep painting you in memories. I'll keep imagining warmth of your smile and what it gave me on the inside. I'll keep loving you in lines that I do remember until I could see you once again, face to face in heaven.
This poem is not about trauma. It's not about what it takes to keep going after the impact. In those first few moments of everything's changed. It's not about walking down hospital hallways that look like hallways where hearts are breaking. Not about having to count numbers out loud to hold back the panic when you're lying in the machine. No, this poem is not about trauma. It's not about a phone call from a stranger with news that takes your knees out. It's not about trying to talk through tears, getting out the goodbyes. Not about parents who abandon their children because sometimes biological imperatives don't work. No, this poem is not about trauma. It's not about the ripping or the tearing or the hurt, not the crying or the dying or the dirt. not shaking or quaking or lying or loss. No. This poem is not about a boy sitting outside his school building under a gray Texas winter sky, waiting to be picked up by a father who isn't coming ever again. And the man this boy has become still cannot understand why his dad didn't come for him that day or any day. No, this poem is not about trauma, not needles or exit bags or exit wounds or scars or pissing blood. No, this poem is about getting through it and standing back up when the trauma poems are the best we can do.
Some say Latinos are the new niggas, and I don't know who should feel more disrespected, the Spanish for not being accepted as they are, or the black man for accepting the term in the first place, as if hard working had to be labeled niggerdom. The same coin flip America characterized lazy. After their building from the foundation up to her tallest skyscraper off of our backs, yet some say Latinos are today's new niggas. Must be because of the wages paid for their labors. But cheaper pay and a tax break ain't the same as working for free. It's a thin line between deportation of family members and auctioning them off to slave a master's field. Even now, freedom has a declaration paper, and the uninitiated are lured to be jailed. You can see why black people today don't want to be the black people yesterday labeled them to be. So they say Latinos are the new niggas lately because of the way they've turned them to cotton, plucking them from their homes, jobs, and schools, corralling for prison-made concentration camps over the idea of expired work visas and undocumented citizenship, freedom papers branded to page the games of trade they've made out of slavery, since legally the way had been constituted away, while in actuality they've just changed the rules to fit the social standing, trapping, trafficking, migrating families, declaring them law offenders. The Masters is more than a golf tournament championship. The original bag boys were brown-skinned cotton balers, yet some say Latinos are the new niggas, but there is no history of the Spanish tied to trees, chained from the waist to their hands behind their backs, snatching apart their torsos. There are no stories of their throats harnessed by ropes in attempt to hold their body weight till their last breath leaves. There's no record of their being stretched limb from horses positioned to rip them apart. There's no trail of their mass kidnappings, the hostage guests of captive cruise shipments. The seas have no bearings of their bodies, choosing death over captivity. If it were true, Latinos are the new niggas, and I don't wish injustice upon their brows. But why does the grit of the Caucasian persist to lynch the descendants of the old ones even now? The proclaimed niggas will always be niggas to those who have given us this defamation. Can somebody please tell the overseers the original man have overly suffered enough? Though I dare not place such a burden on any other race. We are done with being them niggas.
The System Within the System, Part 1. The system within the system, I'm the duality stuck in the in-between. I know what you're going through, but you cannot see past these pupils, trying to be stoic, but clearly not heroic. The black hole lies past my eyes of sadness, guarded, not going to let you witness my stored tears that are more on the sidelines, ready, truly, but a bench player benched, gets one out of the game, yet has to play by the rules, to try to get to the hoop. Someone, give me the basketball. There were no windows in the previous facility, yet this one there are windows upon windows, whereas previously restraint from seeing the rain pouring down like milk in a latte, swirling, taking a trip to Paris, going to go perhaps where Van Gogh used to go, but not now, not to meet him, a dialogue, maybe a martyr, not a devil nor God. I wonder what he withheld within his eyes, producing material, tangible outwards expression, art. I'm falling through ringlets of neon colors, becoming smaller and smaller against the pitch black, body limp, not a diver, but sort of a shape of a U, curved, suspended, playing the flute, notes that would have been on the page visible, falling through multitudes of third eyes, like opening locked doors to the past patterns, memories, lights, dimmer, moving parts, then brighter, sirens, red, blue, and night. I cannot reach out and retrace the outline of your face. An eerily similar one sent me down the lane of what once was and what could have been. Deep conversations between us Scorpios. You confided in me that you put your sacred menstrual blood in special sand, would go to monasteries, us writers bonding over drastically different yet similar emotional paths. And now it flashed in front of me. My heart sank like the somber sun did, dipping amongst the smog in LA, where she could be now. This facility is secured by the hospital's walls, nurses, staff, security, cops. Still, the divide within the self-prevalent, while the music group was rocking out to staying alive. Such a harsh juxtaposition, as previously I really had wanted to die. Probably some or most of them did too, as I looked in from the hallway window, standing on the carpet with the music seeping outwards from under the door. What's more, my existential confusion, the group later cheering and jeering at the TV stage fights of the WWE. And while me, I wanted to block out fighting from my brain, as these open hands can easily become closed fists to protect and serve, but I deserve a peace of mind.
Poetry, slam. Poetry, slam. Poetry, slam. Sometimes I sit down to type poetry, and all I want to do is slam my fist into the computer. I'm haunted by dead people. I see ghosts in the keyboard. I'm haunted by the never made it home keys, letters which make a motherboard weep. ASDF spacebar JKL semicolon. Ayana, Sean, Dante, Floyd, spacebar. Jefferson, Kager, Loop, semicolon. Amadou, Sandra, Du Bois, Freddie, spacebar. Gene, Killings, Loop, semicolon. Akai, Sterling, Deadly Force, spacebar. Jogger, Kneeling, Loop, semicolon. QWERTY gives me night terrors. Quan, Wade, Eric, Rakia, tomorrow, yesterday, repeat, 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 repeat. Control, Alt, right, delete, delete, delete. What you see is what you get. Never made it home keys, letters which make a motherboard cry. There's not enough numerals to count or symbols to memorialize. The only way to cover the whole keyboard is to slam the laptop shut. No poetry today. No video today. Only rage. No conversation, even if I'm standing by the water cooler. No light banter. My heavy dense like mercury. My heavy's too heavy, but not brand new. Got overnight flow in my eye. Who screenshot you? I have Philando Tamar stress disorder. No escape key. Every step forward, followed by 2 backspace back. Don't at me until there's a paradigm shift. F this system for failure to function. Time to settle the tab. For all the times excessive force was never caught on camera. For all the times a minor traffic stop ended with hitting enter into the car, into the driver, even if precious life is in the back seat, into the debriefing, claiming you hit the power off by mistake, into 3 or more lies into an official statement that always ends with a hashtag. It's already starting. The ending of I have a dream, of wanting to wake up to a hash brown instead of a hashtag. The ultimate cancel culture is playing itself out on the Keys, Florida. is where keyboards go to die and get refurbished. But the W, O, K, and E are missing, the never made it home keys, the letters which make a motherboard weep. It's a crying out loud shame. I came here to do poetry, but all I want to do is slam my fists into the same wall I slammed my head into, because this is the way I calm myself down, enough to sit down in front of a keyboard and write a poem in which nobody dies.
This would be a vengeance test. If I were Poseidon, I'd command the high seas, storms, and earthquakes. At a moment's notice, I'd cause rock slides with the sheer exclamation of a thought. This would be a vengeance test. All earthlings would witness me literally moving mountains to reawaken the hidden beauty of Earth through cataclysm. I would make sure to get denizens to safety. In the place of such carnality, I would initiate a hard reset on this planet, and with a mighty flick of my fingers, a new reckoning would be upheld. This would be a vengeance test. Existing governments would collapse and be replaced by one Earth unification. Beasts growl from the depths of the shadows and pick off those causing wanton damage to the environment. May he who demands too many tariffs be decapitated by the wrath of angry mobs wielding pickaxes and maces. This would be a vengeance test. May the power to incite uproar vanquish foes in their tracks, as this tutelage will be passed down to the surviving generations. The other gods will be gobsmacked with awe, as even they would be too cowardly to take such drastic measures. In time, all would kneel at the altar of sustained progress, and not a single human would preside over the rest. This would be a vengeance test.
Maybe if my mother had loved me, I mean, really loved me. Not out of obligation, not because I was the consequence of her mistake, but actually wanted me, maybe I would know what unconditional love feels like instead of writing what I imagine it would look like. So, what would loving me look like if my mother's trauma didn't raise me? I imagine a life where I wasn't the target or the problem. I imagine not being shoved, slapped, screamed at, backhanded, and punched on. I imagine not being blamed for her bad days. I imagine I wouldn't have been locked in my bedroom, though those four walls were safer than being in her presence. I imagine it's not starving me as punishment. I imagine it would look like her knocking before entering, not reading my journals and notes and tearing my room apart when she's angry. I imagine she tells me I'm beautiful, that I'm smart, that I could be anything I wanted to be, that I was going to be somebody. I imagine she shows up to my basketball games to cheer me on. I imagine she lets me talk about my crushes, my fears, my identity without shutting me down. I imagine she doesn't roll her eyes at me when I speak, twist my words, or call me a stupid bitch. I imagine she hugs me when I need it, not just when she wants something. I imagine she listens. I mean, really listens. I imagine we laugh like actual laughter. I imagine I wouldn't have to pray to be saved before she put me in a grave. I imagine not hearing you're just like your dad as if I ever asked to be here. I imagine if I was that beautiful biracial daughter she always wanted, I would have been enough. So loving me without my mother's trauma means her seeing me for me, not as a burden or her biggest regret, just her one and only baby girl. And maybe being a teenager wouldn't have felt so lonely, so heavy, so painful, so empty, and so full of questions that I never got answers to or was forced to answer on my own. Although the life I imagine for myself only exists in this piece, my son, who will soon be turning 18, doesn't flinch when I reach for him, doesn't wonder if I love him, and knows that our home is his safe space. He will never have to imagine what life would look like without his mother's trauma, because I chose to love louder than my mother's trauma that raised me. And though I will never know what it feels like to be a daughter loved, I do know what it means to raise a child who is, or I became the mother I always needed.
The statute of limitations may have been up, but you raped me with no hesitation, and my life is now fuck you. Got me sick to my stomach that I got me so sick to my stomach that I just want to cut it out. Because I told you I didn't want it, and yet you ignored me out loud. How the fuck could you ever think that I would want to see you again? You changed my life in a blink, so why the fuck should we be friends? You're such a fucking coward. Bitch, I dare you to say my name. You tortured me for an hour, yet I'm the one to blame? Oh, she was the one who wanted it. Why the fuck would I want your sister? Where's she been at though? Let me see if I can still try to chew up her. Ho, I wouldn't want you near or on me like the gum on a shoe. I could never again be horny about a dusty boy like you. You even got a bitch name. Who the fuck names their son Edward? You're the one who should feel shame while I'm the one to move forward. Since you decided to destroy my body, I hope this destroys your life. I pray to God you don't got a shorty and that you never get a wife because you don't deserve an ounce of happiness after stealing my virginity. I got motherfuckers who would pounce on you and they aren't even kin to me. So just know that if they see you, bitch, I promise it's on sight. You can go ahead and say I snitched, but I hope that you can fight. You don't deserve a smidge of mercy, boy. I hope they do you dirty. Fuck you up enough for you to see just how the fuck you hurt me. And right when they're finished and you feel like you might be dead, I hope they fucking end it with a boot to your head.
Sometimes I sit with silence, searching for the missing piece. I put my head down and suddenly three creaked up beside me. Soundless echoes in my chest, a broken heart that was torn so heavily. Trying to hold on to memories, wishing there was a time machine to recreate those moments. But until then, I'll follow the clouds. I continue to pray. I miss you. I'll see you in my dreams. I wear your favorite color. I need you. I listen to your music. I read your books. I hold on to the memories just to feel close to you. I want to hear your voice. I love you. I wish I can speak to you. Are there doorbells in heaven? Is there a way I can reach you? When I'm crying, did you say it was okay? When I'm falling, are you there to catch me? When I have goosebumps, is that you hugging me? Can I call out your name and you'll respond? When the balloons release with notes attached, can you read it? Did you know it's for you? When the dust was released, did it fly to you? Symbolizing peace and love, it was hard to depart from my guardian angel. Although there's no answers to my grieving wonders and thoughts, where is the missing piece that connects your halo to the heart of the puzzle? The one that will make this whole thing feel real again. I'm aching to feel whole again. Rooms that wears your name, but the pieces don't fit like they used to. As I sit in my tears, hoping they'll wash away something warm from the past, I close my eyes and the past plays on repeat, wishing I can rewind or fast forward to the best part, just to see your laughter, a smile so pure. When I open my eyes, the missing piece disappear. At least I smiled today because it felt real again.
Silence. As I snoop around with my feet. Feels so clear like V. Moving so silently, feels like I'm about to repeat. Ptolemaic army, crack cocaine, heroin, confused as farming. Corrupt cops, empty coffee cups. One eats as the bunny hops. Broken doors, major seizures. Get down as bodies drop to the floor. This will only take a minute. Another hour passes. Clothes, hats, papers scattered on the floor. People stooped all over on all fours. They left with nothing, no proof. What's in the pot? A cow's hoof. Clicked on the television. They say they don't know where to start looking. I say good start would be at your offices. Okay. That's it. Start snooping around, looking for clues. Find out what's what and who's who. Prisons are getting bigger, pockets are getting fatter. I'm just trying to keep everything together. I ain't misbehaving, just like Fats Waller. This war on drugs just got better. Prisoner of addiction. It feels like I'm in a fiction. It feels like I've got nothing left. My mind's hazy, footsteps outside Ralph's, thinking of theft. I want to stop taking drugs, but I don't know how. But I second guess myself. How can I get my fix now? Walk in the Ralphs and take a bow in front of the clerk. Take the money out of the till before I murk you, you fucking jerk. 10 minutes later, I'm at a street corner feeling like a jerk. I feel like the world is against me, while this addiction threatens to engulf everything that's in my path. Walking home dragging this baseball bat, prison bars of dependency and its rigid confines, similar to La Brea tar pit as it reveals my reliance on it. Selling cannabis across the street from your mama house. Put shoes, put my shoes on, get some money from your mama. Get over here and bounce. I can't stop. I'm making so much money, man. Destroying the neighborhood seems like so much fun. Selling kilos of coke, I'm far from your average joke. Bagging up the cannabis, I went from selling nickels to pounds. Pow. Multitasker, rummaging through your whole town.
Today, I will not return to my vomit. Video games, overeating, McDonald's, inactivity, television. I will not return to the PS5 today, although tomorrow may be a different story. I have a college football dynasty season in progress. My team is Army because my son is in the Army. But today, I will not return to video games. I will not return to big back behavior. Last night, I ate 2 small bags of sweet chili Doritos and 1 big bag of honey barbecue chips. No wonder I carry baggage from emotional eating. In the past, I devour like Galactus, mass quantities in one sitting. But today, I'm standing 10 toes down on business. I will lay off gluttony. I will not return to overeating. I will not return to Mickey D's, no matter how many deals they offer me. Buy one, get one free, buy one, get one for $1, 2 for $6. My daughter says we're getting clowned, and Ronald's secret sauce contains traces of genocide. I appreciate the drive-through worker who put a 21st nugget in my 20-piece, but I will not return to McDonald's. I will not overstay my welcome in bed. I will not hit my alarm snooze button. I will get up on the good foot and give thanks for another day above ground. I will abide by the Joan Baez quote on my wall. Action is the antidote to despair. I will say a quote until it becomes affirmation. I will not return to inactivity. I will not return to inactivity. I will not return to inactivity. I will not be a fully loaded couch potato. I will not plant myself in front of the idiot box and subject my mental garden to polluted programming. Gossip from A to TMZ. With all due respect to Queen of ABC, Shonda Rhimes, there comes a time when I must step away from Grey's Anatomy and do something more productive with my gray matter. Maybe meditate on a way to say Black Lives Matter without using the phrase Black Lives Matter, because those 3 words have caused more butt hurt than these 3 words. Jerome Fleece Johnson, a.k.a. the Booty Warrior, a viral predator poster child birthed by M-ass incarceration. I'm going to get my ass up off this rusted-colored couch. I'm going to let the sun's vitamin D reflect off my face. I will not return to television. I've seen enough to have lines living rent-free in my mind. Damn, damn, damn. By the power of Grayskull. What you talking about, Willis? Go to bed! I will plug into a deviceless routine upon waking up. I will not return to vomit. I will not return to VOMIT. I will go in the opposite direction. Today, I manifest overflowing victory.
When my father decided it was time to go, he went. There was no hug that could hold him. But I did make him cry. On the day he walked away, he turned back with tears in his eyes. I think in that moment, leaving me hurt. Knowing this was the forever kind of goodbye stung him a little bit. A few tears on a causeway shed for a son who was never good enough for him to stay. He has so much potential, they said. If only he would apply himself. But I didn't. Books stayed closed, and I played imaginary games with imaginary friends whose mothers waved from imaginary porches. I wish I could have defied my parents all along, but there was so much shame and too much doubt. So many times my face burned with their disappointment, my head bowed by their guilt. I learned to fight myself, learned to hate the dreamer who looked out the window instead of working, foreshadowing the day I would stare into the distance, an unmarked test in front of me, penned down, heartbroken, the day after my father left for good. My anonymity became my refuge. Odysseus said it to save his life. When he got home, he killed everyone. I say it to save my dignity. There is no one who calls me son. Someday, somebody, maybe. For now, I am no one. I was supposed to be the second coming of my father, a scholar or a ditch digger, he would say, but I never could sit still long enough to become learned. So when I was handed a shovel, I didn't ask questions. I dug until my sweat became flames that burned flesh from bone, until my heart was charred and all that I had been was consumed. But embers left glowing return. Ashes become feathers, feathers become flames, and the phoenix flies free.
It is known as a forested wasteland, often spoke of as a transition zone, the place where water and land comes together to share each other's beauty. The swamp has been given a reputation of being somewhere sorrowful, but the swamp is not a sad place. It is not where nature goes to find its demise. It is very much alive, as the life residing inside of it. The swamp is one of the midpoint temperature environments for many different species to coexist, from insects to lizards, frogs to alligator, to the height from the root of its draping trees. The swamp is a tapestry of life on earth, displayed in a living painting. How gorgeous, so blissful, the phenomenon of being a swamp, the balance between wetland and foresting. God has painted miraculously. The sun feeds it, the moon spotlights it, and as human, we are blessed to experience it. How do you tell someone how to love you? As if their why they love you isn't reason enough. I ask myself this question as if the answer will magically show up. Loving someone is such an easy task. Committing to that emotion is where the problem basks. Following the pattern of our loved ones' paths has hurt men and women living behind a mask. I'd understand if I am loving you improperly and you loved me enough to teach me how to love you, but few have been brave enough to breathe life into each other without bursting the other's bubble. How do you tell someone how to love you? No Hallmark card ever worded instructions. Maybe the tattoos of Bible verses on bodies could label our love before the reconstruction. Because broken hearts don't often heal. We usually lose a few pieces somewhere. Even along the breadcrumb trail, you'd neglect to find a geode. Because hearts like glass normally chip away in shards, stabbing outwards of the chest at parts. I know because I poked out, unaware I was bleeding internally. And stabbing someone else gave us both orgasms. Lust and love may be in the same classroom, but only one has bathroom breaks. You can't piss away love like an ejaculation because you can always come again. but a love lost is to no end, especially when you have never learned the correct way to love. It's been a failed course for most of us, though many have taken several terms. Love language arts is like being bilingual. Some mistake it for speaking out of turn. But how do you tell someone how to love you? As if their why they love you isn't reason enough. I ask myself this question as if the answer will one day magically show up.
I'm not a Disney. They tricked me, had me wishing on a shooting star. Disney, you tricked me. Painted skies and pastel dreams told me love would break all curses, but never told me love is a curse, especially when it leaves. A kiss doesn't fix a thing when the bills stack up. No fairy godmother in my contacts, just debt collectors scam and ghosted call. Fuck you, Disney. You sold me glass slippers, but forgot to mention the blisters it will leave. Said I sang loud in the forest, the world will come to sing with me. Ariel gave up her voice for legs. I lost both, and I still can't walk into rooms without shrinking. Mulan saved China, and I can't even save myself from myself some days. The stars don't talk back to me when I'm crying at 2 in the morning. Moana braved the waves, but my waves of emotions keep pulling me under. No fairy tale for the tired, no pixie dust for the poor, no sidekick to lighten the mood, no magic carpets, just overpriced vehicles, no golden castles, just rent overdue, no evil queens, just quiet haters. Disney told me the world was kind, that dreams come true with a wish and a smile, but in real life, dreams die quietly if you don't fight every fucking day. So here I am. No tiara, no prince, just me with a bruised soul, broken heart, and my truth. Maybe that's its own kind of magic. Don't know, Disney. Your magic was conditional. Your fairy tales had fine print, so fuck you and your fucking fairy tales. I'm writing mine with scars, grief, and anger, and that's my happily ever after.
I put my feelings in a box today, marked with a label that says fragile. Maybe I'll open it again in May after letting them sit for a while. Compartmentalization. That's this wonderful skill I have. It was given to me through the education passed down from my dad. Toughen up, little soldier. Can't you see what in the war? The weight of my feelings is like boulders that I ain't never moved before. Forgive me. I'm healing. Learning to be that big and beautiful girl, the one who expresses her feelings, even if the weight of the world is coming down on her shoulders and it feels like it's too much for her to carry. Yet as she gets older, she worries if she's even enough to be married to a man that would see all the broken pieces inside her and still want to be the one standing beside her at the end of the day when the day decides to end, who would sit her down to say that she doesn't have to pretend like she has it all together more than she actually does. He would sit with her to weather every storm just because he really fucking loves her. And who she has grown to be wouldn't put anyone else above her, but just wishes she could see. She isn't just a broken woman in the windows of his eyes. He will take care of her and her children until she can learn to realize that the depression she's been dealing with is really just some bullshit. She can't ever quit or even try to forfeit because she gotta make it through it. She can't let her demons win. She can't let the beast inside turn her back to a life of sin or where she goes to run and hide. She's gotta pick up these fucking boulders so that everyone can see that she doesn't need someone to hold her hand to for her to be free. The biggest, most baddest goddess that has ever walked this earth. Because she's tired of being modest as she fights for her self-worth. She's building herself back up, brick by brick. And the day she sees she's enough, man, y'all motherfuckers gonna be sick.
In the history of the Five family, there's always been a guardian for every generation. Each one had their specialty: fast, smart, powerful, clever, resilient, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they sound great, but none of them had personality. I do. Those rotten family members are so ungrateful. Demoting the great and also Mushu just because the asshole I was protecting got decapitated. It wasn't even my fault. He didn't listen to me. I tried to keep him alive. Now I'm just a gong bearer. Oh, whoop de doo. At least I get to sleep. As I'm hitting these Z's, it sounds like a war is about to break out. Oh well, I just got summoned because of some Mulan chick. What was she thinking, trying to cover for her father? He's old and sick, but still, maybe it's his time. Now, here it's time to wake up everybody for them to squabble about who to assign to Milan, and they say you awaken this pompous jerk, the stone dragon. Just my luck. His old ass statue crumbled, and they are expecting him to protect this one. Wait. This could be my opportunity to prove myself and take back my position. Let me use this old dragon's head to fool them. I'm gonna do this. When I succeed, they have no choice but to acknowledge me. Okay, Mulan, you want to be a man? This is how you have to act. All the girly things you do, you gotta let go of them to make this work. Yeah, I gotta train. Uh-oh. This is how it's just gonna go. She can't fight. A disaster is about to happen. She doesn't do anything the way I said. Mulan, get it together. Okay. She survived. Whew. But now she's gone and took a bath. Shit. Everything is about to be exposed. All the fellas will notice a woman. Such a stupid mistake. It's gonna be harder than I thought. And after all that, wow, she proved to be brave, and thanks to me, she's alive. Yes, go me. Thanks to Milan, I'm great again. And now the foolish ancestors now give me back my rightful place. Mushu, the best guardian.
In the blind eye of night, chaos was expelled in syllables that whispered through the wind. Shadows hauntingly circling tighter the lapse became me. In the eyes of terror's breath, I drowned. I could never be bound to this world, grounded to a society broken and bondaged flesh. Ash from a ghetto, an alley's stench, lost, a child in a faded mask, wandering the streets for a fix. A junkie's breath, exhale, death, and another OD lingers in the air. I always found my life peculiar, in a sense, a black sheep banned from the ground in which I was born, cast away too young without milk of thy mother. A promise to be loved, shattered, swallowing the broken pieces to eternally cut myself, a way to release this pain. In shallow trenches, I crawled to avoid the incoming bombs. Avoidance, a self-defense mechanism. For if a tree falls without witness, will it produce a sound? And if I stay quiet, will I ever really exist? Nothingness, an empty shell consumed. Blackness, dark energy surrounding me. Destiny turns to face myself, foreign amongst the crowd. This shoreline, an ocean of sinners and lovers, a certain freedom felt amongst the tides. An eternity of twirling souls blissfully flowing in the frequency of peace. Dreamlike, 1,000 candle lights glow in the shape of your eyes as we stare into each other, fate in the shape of the moon, yet we've always had the stars and the start of time at our fingertips. The key of our voices combine in syllables, strings attached, an orchestra morphing into one chaotic balance swirling throughout the night sky, forming a mandala of faith. Born through shooting stars raining down on our cheeks, tear-shaped. The veil that hid our lifetimes dissipates. Resonance aligning us to shine once again, a single star in the eternal vibration of love.
I choose me. Yeah, that's right. I choose me. I have to let it go. It's hard, but I have to be free. I got my mind made up. I'm moving in directions of my own drum line. And if you can't keep up, this ain't the battlefield for you. Choosing to be wise, to be loud enough to hear my own heartbeat, knowing what it feels like not to be heard, even when words seem so clearly, but opinions choose to play tricks on me. Lately, it's been dishonor over loyalty, having conversations without the full story. I told you this would be a story you tell. If you don't remember, I got receipts. Overall, the lacking of comprehension was lacking on my end, but the math wasn't mathing when the sense of accountability lacked on your end. All that uncertainty because it was already planned. Believe me when I tell you, one thing about a real one, we still real after you disappoint us. My faith in me so strong, I recite Bible verses in my piece. Isaiah 40:31. Those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. I develop a strong opinion about who I am. Just in case you accidentally take accountability for that, I choose me. You see, I'm in love with this version of myself. Even my bumper stickers to my personality. Come at me correctly. Watch how you speak to me. Only two things I wear on my sleeve. That's self-love and confidence. Apologies to myself for allowing voices to take away my resilience. I choose me. I forgave you for me. Keep in mind, moving in silence was the better deal. I could probably write a book of all the shit I deserved, gave all the love I had. I choose me. I choose to move forward with life. Call me the black sheep because from a distance, everything ain't clear. Keep from around me. I don't know your intentions. Gotta stay out the way. Make sure I keep my distance. If that's what's loving you from a distance. Everyone has a story to tell, but when you tell my story, make sure you have periods at the end. Use explanation marks. Get loud with my autobiography and don't leave nothing out. If you get stuck, invite me next time. I said what I said. If you need reinsurance, ask God about me. I practice what I preach, so ain't no sneaking in this peaceful feeling, foggy then leap.
It's getting scarier and scarier when books are being burned like witches at the stake and libraries are swirling down the fascist drain. When the gavel ends up behind bars and a bill is just a crumpled up piece of paper used to make lines and snort coin. What happened to democracy or the American dream, the one they say we won't achieve, where writing lies is an act of heroism and reporting the truth is terrorism? The most dangerous weapon is not a nuclear bomb. Everyone knows the click of a pen can do more damage than the push of a button. What of the history charred? Will it become folklore like religion? Where folklore the poor blinds the slaughter. Christians use the same recipe as Jim Jones to fix their wine. Call it the blood of Christ. I thought this was the land of the free, but free doesn't support diversity, don't support love or equality. I thought this was the home of the brave. The brave bomb unarmed women and children in a genocide. The brave rip families apart and throw them in cages. They've got knees and elbows on necks, guarding the Teslas they serve and protect. And they're coming for the poets next. There are times parenting feels like that job you hate, but you can't quit. Your managers are constantly breathing down your back. You can't catch a break, and they tax you so much so you might as well be working for free. But I am my only dependent. Truthfully, my kids pay the bills here. Head of household, had it not been for them, I would have clocked out long ago. When I used to think I've seen all I need to see and I'm okay with leaving. Rent has tripled beyond what my mind can afford. But children have a way of making you want to stay. My daughter gave me a Chase sticker, and it's a big deal because he's her favorite character. My son can pick me out in a room full of people in seconds. His eyes hug me like cashmere, and I've never been loved like that before. Never knew love can be measured in stickers and smiles, in Eskimos and butterflies. These are the moments that pay the bills and the mortgage on this body. They are the reasons I keep my lights on.
I tell her sometimes that's just the flavor of pain. She snickers and asks me what my pain tastes like. And I wonder if I can tell her it tastes like a fistful of pills being chased by a quart of brandy. It tastes like salty tears over a child's coffin. It tastes like fear on the tip of my tongue, keeps dripping down the back of my throat. No matter how many times I try to spit it out, I simply can't. It tastes like blood flowing from a tongue bitten too hard and too often. And I wonder which words is more bitter, the ones I can bring myself to speak or the ones I choose not to. Either way, the flavor of this pain is ever too pungent on my tongue. But if I could tell her, I tell her it also tastes like the ash of burnt bridges. The smoke of choices made in desperation. It tastes like the metallic sting of regret, sharp and unrelenting. The sourness of apologies left unsaid. It tastes like the cold, stale air of a room with carpet stained with my mother's blood. It tastes like broken trust and resentment that linger in my mouth long after I swallow the depth of my pain. But instead, I tell her it tastes tolerable for now. I think I was always meant to love poetry. The snaps of a crowd always seemed so natural to me. It was always seemed soothing. It's the sound of the clapping that always seemed to bother me, and I know that sounds weird, but it does. Perhaps it was just too similar to the sound of my mother being slapped around in the other room, followed by quiet sobs, and I remember my swollen-faced mother trying to cheer us up come morning. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And I'm sorry I never found a reason to sing along, Mom. Maybe my empty stomach was locked in too many knots to allow myself to feel free enough to sing. And I know it hurt you as much as it did me. I just think it affected me differently is all. But you just kept on singing. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. And I probably would have if I wasn't too busy trying to find my footing. God knows I had plenty of reason to stomp around my room, reason to scream and shout and cry until there were no more tears to be had, reasons to hate this world and everything in it, and I get it now. I get it, Mom. Why you found your escape through a pipe. It allowed you the courage to keep singing through the pain, to say the words you never felt to begin with, but you just kept on singing. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. And I always intend to sing along. But when I was finally ready to start singing, you would stop and there was a light that was lost in your eyes, and I'm sitting here regretting missing the only opportunity this life would grant me to sing with my mother. Then the door swings open. My son comes running into the room. He leaps into my arms. Dad, sing with me. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your, hey, listen, bud, maybe later, okay?
You came suddenly, tap dancing on our emotions, singing a psalm of solace within and instilling tranquility. You brought the soft drizzle, kissing our hearts with delight. I recall the first time that we felt you within a hush and stillness, that Caribbean morn, Salome's silk-woven negligee waltzing to a rhythmical tempo. You brought a light zephyr, cooling the heat and caressing our spirit. She, feeling safe as we hug, you, the rain, soothing her petite velvety ebony figure in the sweet hush of an affectionate embrace. Now along a long winding path, Mother Gaia massages my feet as I walk, my mind, heart, and soul calmly blending into a serenity of vast and profound solitude. Chirping in symphonies, songbirds jump from branch to twigs. Along the edges, thick ferns and flora pay homage at my feet, the lushness of white daisies and verdant green trees and foliage standing tall in majesty, saluting a breath moving in harmony to the reverential dance of Gaia's silence. White clouds peep through a translucent sky. As I gaze, I become inebriated, drunk with the wine of nature's charm and beauty, her mystic blessings in this reverential moment of being. Today it is fall, and after the rainfall, I walk past the magenta rose-pink colors and cinnamon leaves now strewn along the edges. The sun's rays shimmer through the trees and onto a clay-colored earth. I feel a whispered silence as I gaze at the tall, shaded trees, a panorama of branches as lush as sunset crests. I invoke my lover, her innocent charm and reticent smile, her demure and mellifluous lips, her golden heart blending with the light winds of this pure seasonal melody, cleansing away our carnality, taking us into the sacrament of this present moment to make us whole once more. The play of love dances, even as the Libran pendulum continues to swing like a seesaw, like my fears in the face of corrupt ineptitude and a relentless drive affecting the vicissitudes of balance. Love is the pinnacle of precision, yet in omnipotence, she is not bound by plans, watches the greedy, hoping against hope for gratitude, humility, mutual respect, and cooperation. All around me and afar, silence voices whispers to the light. They speak of a cosmos resonating change and the emergence of a new order. Rama, the voice of reason, marches to the east, while Hanuman, its loyal emissary, is kept busy by the equally uncomfortable actions of the other sides. Both light and shadow are the dance of love, and so Ravana, the demon, plays its part well, bobbing and weaving like a Joe Frazier of boxing. It hides its secrets in the breeze of night, afraid of the light, and yet longing for kisses by the floodgates of the stellar constellations. Light must descend into darkness, for there is no other way to illumine shadows, in themselves necessary conduits to its divine game. Envoys of peace chant in all directions, and while a few add to the confusion, others are wise, benevolent, address the needs of souls which falls on boisterous and turbulent emotions. I am an instrument of a destiny which dances on my forehead. I frequently misuse my limited freedom, so-called free will, until I am summoned to the court of love imploring, peace, peace. Once again, this compassionate mother of mine forgives me, this time resorting to slaps like an earthly mom, using a thing called transformation, a favorite tool hidden in struggle, its purpose being to add equipoise and serenity to my pendulums. Mariners come and go, like the flow and ebb of receding tides. Evolution is movement, progress, and cycles repeat themselves in ways as transcendent as the soul immortal. O lantern, can you see this play? It is truly a plenitude of effulgent lanterns, ever glowing, burning the mysterious oil of love and light, so you can arrive safely home.
I walk in circles within this cage, for I am filled with such a rage, and everywhere I go, I vow to leave it in flames. So prayers to the ones that think my babies were for them to play with. For they place themselves in harm's way as prey for me to mold my clay with. For bones break so easily, or so at least I've heard. Few pounds of pressure ever needed before what was once solid is solid no more. And cry not unto the heavens, for the heavens hear you no more. You've lost your access to the ears of God, for touch not my anointed ones. One of the most vicious and poetic bars ever written or sent down from the stars. And I've always wondered, how many ways could one utilize a crowbar on breathing surfaces? And your breathing in the direction of my loves, well, it's increased such curiosities, like how much velocity between the swing and the surface will allow me to enjoy this crowbar's new and unintended purpose. Will I be able to stomach the sound? Or how many swings before your body hits the ground? And how many swings to give you both a smile on one side and a frown on the other? How many swings before all of the voices in my head have become satisfied with your punishment and begin to come down? How many swings before my rage calms and I am able to forgive you so that God, my God, might forgive me? You see, these are the things that I wonder while I pray both on and off of my knees, praying that my new meds will calm these bloody thoughts indeed. So until my anger passes, I shall remain on mute. For my voice can cause great damage, and my hands can cause it too. So prayer to peace in the midst of this damaged cage. Prayers to my sons and my husband as I give them constant praise as their voices remain unraised. Dear God, thank you for giving me this pen as a way to control my fury. For now and the rest of my days, I pray a quieted mind. From now until the end of time, peace be still, peace please be mine. So in the name of your son, I pray. I say, Amen.
I will just lay here and pretend that you're near. Pretend that your moans are close to my ear for as long as possible, where you won't disappear into the stratosphere. Pretend as your scent fills me with reminders of you. Pretend mine drifts, lingers as the tips of my fingers caress you in shifts, compelling me to scratch that itch. Pretend that I hear the deep tenor of your voice, never lacking in skilled whispers, awakening the kraken from its hibernation, wet as if your tones was libation. So I'll pretend that I'm content, as if I'm spent from your insatiable ministrations, to keep my pretense most present. That is the first piece. Let's see.
Let me go get my church fan. Get my church fan.
The next one is the 25 of 30 for the month. I titled it Nerd. I hope I can read it right, because I'm reading from my phone. I'm locked in to this noteworthy, exceptional renaissance deity, my nerd. Each day upon greeting me, he goes all the way in. When I have yet to acclimate to the day's end, he greets me with, I have a prompt for you. He may shoot me a good morning or hi, babe, before proceeding with his agenda. But homework soon follows upon opening my eyes, like I have a classroom set up on my calendar. And I'm not alone in receiving assignments. Going by the time he takes, he appears to be in study hall. For every time he locks eyes on me, I observe him doing his research, footnotes, Wikipedia, sites worked, photographic memory of my moods ensues, my expressions, past conversations, in order to set up his PowerPoint presentation. He's my logophile obsession. So this man truly studies me. I am his biology specimen, his daily regimen, amber on double alert, as if I'm displayed on a petri dish, like a delectable dessert. Microscopic perusal of my inner workings, unwavering in his gaze, looks upon me as if he's amazed, never missing a beat. His focus is as if he's afraid that if he blinks, he'll miss something unique. Thesaurus to my nature, his perusal never complete. I'm His case study, indeed, feeds into my sapiosexual needs. So he studies me to show himself approved, so he won't have to cram for the finals.
Mankind has struggled to answer one simple question. Where do we go when we die? A man of science will have you believe that we just become one with the earth, nothing more. And a man of faith will view things in a much different perspective. But what about those like you and I? We're special. For us, there is no death. We live forever through our art. This is sanctuary, the stage, this microphone, this fleeting finite moment in time. Here we will manifest all the power we will ever need to thrive in this dark world, to make passage towards our own salvation. Today, we stand together as conquerors, as revolutionaries, as beings of 1,000 truths, as survivors who have slumbered in flames and laughed in the face of fear. We have found our way through the darkness and into the light with nothing but limitless might. We are the color red in this world of black and white. Society has placed labels on us, for it is only human nature to put labels on things you do not understand. Labels, insults, numbers, ways to objectify the unknown, the unfamiliar, and the unwanted. We have been labeled many things: unconventional, strange, misunderstood, outsiders. Understand this though, friends. Labels are nothing more than penniless words if you do not surrender any strength to them. And we, for one, will never surrender. Now, I urge you all to drink in this moment, man. Drink it in like hot coffee and wake up. Wake up and look into this lie that you're all living in, man. Everything you think you know about your own lives is based upon lies. All of you wake up every morning, look at yourselves in the mirror, and coat makeup all over your beautiful faces because you don't even realize that you're just wearing the mask that society demands you to wear. It is a bottomless pit of lies. However, these false prophets plaster your hopes and dreams on up in a billboard. However, the days of the false prophets are over. I promise you today, I promise you tomorrow, I promise you up until my final breath, that with the swords of our tongues, we will slay this mighty dragon, and we will stand over his body, and we will whisper into his ear, it is time to end this lie. When you die, come find us. We will never be too hard to find. Just look up into the sky and follow the buzzards.
If my poetry had a scent, it would reek of burnt bridges and backhanded prayers, a musk of dreams deferred, perfume and broken promises bottled on clearance, a whiff of funeral suits worn twice, once for love, once for hope. It would linger like eviction notice glue in hospital hallways, not scent you chase, but kind haunting your clothes long after you've walked away through the fire. It would carry odor of unanswered I'm fines, soured by smiles cracking at corners, stink of silence where I need help got buried, drenched in same sweat worn by women who showed up for everyone, but bled behind closed doors. You smell the generational girt pine that was passed down like cheap perfume, worn like armor on first dates, job interviews, and Sunday altars where forgiveness is sprayed on wounds that never healed right. My poetry smell like bed sheets that ain't been changed since the last heartbreak. Faint traces of him still woven into each count thread. Aroma of late night overthinking when regret mixes with sweat and turns into insomnia's cologne. Ashes of letters I never sent still smoldering beneath the mattress. It saturates rooms I never felt safe in. Fake calm I wrapped around my chest like spandex for my soul, protecting it. It would carry stench of apologies I never owed, but still somehow always gave, just to keep peace while I burned. It would smell of birthday balloons deflated too soon, lingering in disappointment with grief tucked in a cake slice and songs I couldn't sing through. Its odor of childhood toys boxed with trauma, a mix of plastic and pain, the metallic tang of biting my tongue too long, but holding my silence where my taste buds forgot what joy tastes like. My poetry would smell like Sunday morning shame after Saturday night survival, like foundation layered over emotional bruises and cheap lotion trying to cover cracks. Its scent of motherless moments of trying to raise yourself in a world that don't send back what you pour into it. A fake designer label stitched into insecurities just to feel seen or feel expensive when you ain't felt like shit in weeks. If my poetry had a scent, it wouldn't be sweet. It would sting your nostrils of those who never stay long enough to hear my story. It would smell like truth ripped from my rib cage and healing still wearing bandages. It would walk into rooms before I do, dragging every get over it I was ever told, setting them on fire mid-step, dousing them with kiss my ass and a lot of fuck yous. They say we're born into sin like our melanin's a target. Bullseye painted in brown and black ink, but my son ain't commit no crime except existing in a world who already wrote his eulogy before taking his first breath, stamped him guilty before his first cry. Before he even saw sun, they had his name chalked in concrete like prophecy they've been waiting to fulfill. I carried him with praying hands, rocked him in wound laced with psalms and whispered stay safe before he even knew what danger meant. But safety ain't promised when your skin's kissed by God's own lips. Instead, it's a gamble, like Russian roulette waiting for bullet to leave chamber, or lottery where grand prize is survival and second prize is hashtag. Even though he's an adult now, ain't no safe spaces for him, not even in his own home. Just ask Jenkins and Parker. Ask them how 6 badgers kicked down their door like they were enemy number 1. Again, only crime committed was wearing black skin, breathing in zip code deemed wrong for them. See, my son ain't gotta reach, ain't gotta run, ain't gotta do nothing but be, and that's enough to make a badge nervous, enough to make a trigger finger twitch, enough to make a courtroom fumble justice like a loose ball they never planned to recover. I taught my son, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, like armor, like gospel, like maybe if his hands are still enough, his voice low enough, his presence quiet enough, he'll make it home to me at night. But silence ain't Kevlar. It ain't never stopped a bullet from carving a mother's name into grief. Ain't never stopped a judge from shrugging their shoulders. Ain't never stopped a system from spinning a wheel and calling it law. So I pray, not the soft folded hands kind or the Sunday morning kind, but the kind that begs, bargains, and breaks at altar of a God I hope ain't death to a black mother's cries. I pray his hoodie don't make him suspicious. His laughter don't sound like rebellion. His skin don't read like a death sentence in eyes of those who took an oath to serve and protect. I pray his son learns to say his name before he forgets his face. I pray I don't have to watch strangers march in his honor. I pray I don't have to hear his name echo in a courtroom while a judge sighs, shifts papers, and moves on to the next. I pray Brown don't ever have to learn the weight of his body, that I don't have to press hands to caskets wood when I should be pressing them to his face, telling him he's safe now. But how do you protect a son from a war he's never enlisted in? How do you armor him when battlefield is his own backyard? When enemy got badges, gavels, pickup trucks, lives next door, and rules say he loses either way? I tell him come home. before the street lights hum their warning. Come home. Before a stranger mistakes his smile for threats. Come home. Before a cop sees his hands and swears he had a gun. Come home. But what if he doesn't come home? What if a phone call unravels my whole world and I'm left screaming his name at the top of my lungs toward the heavens above that never answers back because he never came home? They say we're born into sin, but I ain't never seen a sin worthy of a death sentence just for being born Black. Oh, so you want your hoodie back? Talking about run me my hoodie? Like that's the biggest thing I took from you? Nah. See, if we settling debts, I need my mornings back spent on early rides and feeding your ego substance, providing energy that you don't impede. I want my sex back. Matter of fact, I want my time back, my moans back, and all of the energy wasted trying to hype up a man who thought he was big shit. Only thing big on you was your damn mouth. Delusions thick as your skull. You out here fronting like you bringing pressure when all you doing is leaving unanswered questions. I want my air back. Sucked out the room when your breathless routine was just out of breath before you broke a sweat while huffing and puffing through your two cardio sessions. Had me looking for your stroke while you was looking for air. I want my dignity back. Lost cosign and your overextended fantasy telling me to turn around when you couldn't even reach without a booster seat. Only thing deep was the notion that you could do anything but tickle my butt cheeks. I want my custom moans back, crafted by imagination, left deflated, living on a dream while leaving deflated fantasies. I want my 90s playlist back, ruined by your offbeat hip thrust. Now I can't even vibe without reliving trauma of you missing beats while laying there wondering if CPR was gonna be needed. I want my edges back, sweated out by putting in work that never showed up. Effort in your forehead wrinkles and not in your hip rotation, giving half effort and full delusions. I want my bra strap strength back. 2 hands, 2 minutes, and an existential crisis over a simple snap. Bruh, it wasn't a Rubik's Cube or even Minecraft. Like, what the fuck? I want my time back giving you directions step by step, play by play, Google Maps for a G spot, and you still ended up lost in the wrong region. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I want my standards back. They hit rock bottom messing with you. Matter of fact, I need a pelvic alignment because you had no rhythm at all, just bad timing and bad vibrations. I want my consideration of a future with you back when you said, you gonna be my wife one day. And I actually considered it until I realized the only thing you was faithful to was disappointment. And I ain't signing up for a lifetime of letdown. So yeah, it's a no for me. So yeah, come get your hoodie. I Febrezed it, prayed over it, and wished it luck. Lord knows it needs a better home. But if you just want it back, you gonna need to come get it. And I'm gonna need everything you fumbled in return. Every hump, every pump, every moan, every second I wasted trying to coach you through this sex like a TED talk. And while you're at it, bring some receipts for that weak ass stroke game because I'm returning everything back to you, but only if you can return it back to me.